morning and welcome to Moving Well. And again, I remind you this is not an exercise class. This is a movement class. It's working with your brain. So we're going to remember to engage the essentials that are the language of the brain. So today I want you to remember to move slowly, paying attention to what you sense and feel. Reduce the force. Don't try so hard. And today, really use your imagination and bring in some enthusiasm. When we get enthusiastic or a little bit excited or curious about something, that hypes up the attention of our brain. So enjoy yourself and go ahead and lay on your mat. Take a few moments to feel your contact with the floor. Take notice if you need any props to make you more comfortable. Notice your breathing. And when I say notice your breathing, pay attention to where you feel the breath go when you inhale. Where do you feel the movement in your chest, your torso? Take note of the places that are in contact with the floor, the parts of yourself that are in contact with the floor, and where there are spaces. If you were laying on a sandy beach, where would the imprints of yourself be deeper than other parts of yourself? And maybe there would be places that aren't affected. The sand is unmoved because you're not in contact there. And this is one thing to pay attention to as we go through the lesson, that each time you come back to rest, to pay attention to anything that's changed in your contact. So notice your heels on the floor, the right and the left, your lower legs, your knees, the space behind your knees, if there is any. Contrast the way your two thighs are organized and in contact. Feel your sacrum on the floor, that flat bone in the middle of your pelvis, as well as the two sides of your pelvis, the right side, the left side. Notice, is there space behind your low back area? Usually at the beginning of the lesson there is more space than at the end of a lesson, so just pay attention to notice that after the lesson. And then just continue traveling with your attention up your spine, through that low back area, through your mid-back where your ribs begin to attach, then up between your shoulder blades, all the way to C7. Then notice the organization of your neck vertebra. Feel how your head is resting on the floor. What's the leaning point? How heavy does your head feel right now? And just for comparison at the end, roll your head just a little bit left and a little bit right. Just to feel what's available for easy turning, where's there resistance. Notice if there's any discomfort. And then let that go and bring your attention to your right arm on the floor. What part is resting on the floor? And just scan from the tip of your shoulder through your upper arm to your elbow. And then through your lower arm to your wrist, through your hand and fingers. And then do the same thing on the left side, from the top of your shoulder, through your upper arm, your elbow, your lower arm. Feel your wrist in your hand. And again, make a mental note of where your hands are in relationship to your body now, to your torso. Notice the way your arms rest, your wrists, your fingers, your hands. And again, this is a good thing to compare at the end of a lesson. And then go ahead and stand your legs, bend your knees, stand your feet. And now, today I'm going to have you spread your feet further apart, wider than, as wide as is comfortable. As wide. Remember, comfort is the key word. There should be no discomfort whatsoever. If there's any discomfort, bring them back in a little bit. Okay? And now begin to just slowly and gently tilt your left knee inward, as if you want to lay it on the floor. Just and just play with this a little bit to see what's available right now. Without trying to force anything, without trying to make anything happen. We're just exploring now to see what's available now, what's comfortable. Remember, we're going to aim for increased comfort and ease in this lesson. So if we're efforting and struggling or forcing anything, we're not going to get to ease. We'll get to more discomfort. And then let your left leg come back up and stay. And then do the same thing with your right knee. Just explore what's the really easy range to taking your knee inward. Notice the parts of yourself that lift from the floor and the parts that press a little heavier on the floor when you do this. And again, notice what parts lift from the floor as you take the knee inward a little bit. And then just play with the two knees, taking one inward a little bit and then the other. Just exploring note any differences between the two knees, the two legs. And then just leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest for a moment. Noticing anything that is different. And when we're noticing differences, be sure to remember to periodically notice if there's any change in your breathing as you do this. And now bend your knees, stand your feet again. And wherever your feet landed right now, we're going to start here and just begin to press a little on your right foot with the intention of following the force going through your skeleton. Then it'll go from your foot through your lower leg to your knee. And see, how far does it go? Does it go to your hip joint? Does it go any further? And then just leave that one and go to the left leg and do the same thing. Just play around with pressing, feeling where does the force go. Notice if you're holding your breath. Notice when you breathe, when you hold your breath. And then leave it alone. Lengthen your legs and rest again. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Again, spread them further apart. Go as far as is comfortable, thinking of the potential of laying your knee in, one of your knees inward as if it was going to go to the floor. Not that I'm asking you to do that now, just in looking for space. But make sure you're comfortable, that there's no pain in the hips, no pain in the knees, no pain in the ankles. And now, begin with your left foot and just begin gently pressing on your left foot with the idea of the force going through your skeleton, from your foot to your knee, from your knee to your hip joint, and then notice where it goes from there. Just play with pressing, and you'll find that if you press a little more on the outside of your foot or a little more on the inside of your foot, you can direct the force going through your skeleton. Now, a couple times, intentionally think of the force going through your left foot, from your left foot to your knee, from your knee to your hip joint, and continuing up your left side as if it's going to go up to your left shoulder. So you'll want to press a little bit, feel the force, and then let yourself come back so that there's no pressure, so you're starting from a totally fresh place each time you press. So the force is going up your left side. And then leave that alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Notice any differences in your contact with the floor or your breathing. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Again, spread comfortably. And now again with your left foot, take time to imagine this first before you even begin pressing, that the force is going to go from your left foot through your lower leg to your knee, from your knee to your hip joint, and then it's going to go diagonally through your pelvis, crossing your spine, and up to your right shoulder blade, shoulder area. So it's going to cross your spine. Just repeat this several times. Notice, was it easier or clearer to go diagonally, or clearer and easier to go up the whole left side? Notice, are you pressing when you inhale or when you exhale? Try it each way. Play with it a little bit. That variation gives your brain a little more information. It begins to tweak things for you. And then leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Is one side feeling different from the other? More different? Less different? And then go ahead and bend your knees again, stand your feet. Spread again, a little wider than, still in the range of comfort. Remember, comfort rules, comfort reigns in these lessons. Okay, now begin to just gently press on your left foot. With the force going up your left side. Notice when you think of the force going up your left side, is it going to like your shoulder blade, or is it going to the tip of your shoulder? Does it go all the way to your neck, to your head? And then leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Did I just have you do the left side twice?
Yes.
Thank you. That was a test. Okay, bend your knees, stand your feet.
It's always a test you from.
Well, I caught on. Okay, bend your knees, stand your feet. Thank God they can edit. All right, now begin gently pressing on your right foot with the idea of the force going up your right side to your right shoulder, your right side of your neck. Is there a difference between the right side and the left side in how the force travels through your skeleton? And then let that go, lengthen your legs and rest. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. And now, this time you're going to be pressing on your right foot, thinking of the force going from your foot to your knee, to your hip joint, and then going diagonally through your pelvis, crossing your spine up to your left shoulder blade, left shoulder area. Is there a difference between how the force goes through the right side from the left side? Notice where, when the force is going diagonally through your skeleton now, at what point does it cross your spine? At what level in your spine do you sense the crossing happen? And again, notice, are you inhaling or exhaling when you do this? Or are you holding your breath? That's also an option. Not a very viable option, but it's fun to play with, just to notice the difference. So one time, play with just holding your breath as you do the move, just to see the impact of breathing and not breathing. That gives your brain a little more information. And then leave that alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Is there anything changing in the way you're in contact with the floor now? And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. And again, spread them wider than usual, but in the range of comfort, in the range of absolute comfort. And now begin to press on your, imagine this first, imagine the force where it's going. You're going to press on your right foot with the idea of the force going through your right side, up, all up the right side, as you're pushing out your belly and rolling your pelvis to the left. So you're pressing on the right foot with the idea of the pelvis rolling, pushing out your belly. Of course, pushing out your belly in the direction that you want to go. And rolling your pelvis. So the left side will get heavier, the right side will lift. Be sure your jaw is soft, there's space between your teeth. And then let that go, lengthen your legs and rest. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Spread. And now, first imagine pressing on your left foot, the force going through your skeleton, up your left side, pushing out your belly, and rolling your pelvis towards the right. And after you imagine it a few times, then actually begin to do it. Is one direction easier than the other? What do you do with your eyes? What do you do with your head? And then let that go, lengthen your legs and rest. And observe anything that's different. Any change in contact of your parts, any change in your breathing. And then bend your knees, stand your feet again with your feet spread. And just do a check to see if about rolling your right knee towards the left. Feel what's available now. And just go a little bit and come back. And then do the same thing with your left leg. Where do you feel the rotation happening? How far through your skeleton do you feel it happening now? And then just bring your knees back up. And now lengthen your left leg. And now take a moment to imagine this. You're going to be pressing on your right foot, thinking of the force going through your skeleton and pushing out your belly and rolling to the left. And so think about what you're going to be doing with your head, your eyes, your breathing. And start out with thinking of the force going through your right side, going all the way up your right side as you push your belly out. And then go ahead and explore that and see what happens. Looking at the power of what we focus on. Do that a few times. When you push your belly out, can you feel your back arching? As you arch your back, push your belly out. And now the next time that you do that, this time think of the force going diagonally to your left shoulder area that you're thinking of. And play with the position you have your foot in. See if one position makes it easier. And then let that go, lengthen your leg, and rest. Notice any changes in your contact with the floor. How you feel yourself organized. Notice where your right leg is now. And now bend your left leg and stand it, again, a little wider than hip width. And begin just gently pressing, playing with where does the force go, and Then intentionally think of the force going up your left side through your skeleton, and think of rolling to the right, which means you'd be pushing your belly out, your back would be arching. And when you think of your back arching, how much of your spine are you envisioning? How much of your spine actually engages? Now, the next time you're going to do it, that you're going to push on your foot and roll, pull your belly in real tight. Pull your belly in real tight and hold it while you try pressing on your foot and rolling. What'd your brain say to that one? And then come back and then let your belly be free. Let your belly actually push out and let your spine arch. Your arching, your belly, if your belly is free, it allows your spine to arch more. And it's the curves, the arches in our spine that allow for the flexibility. So you're thinking of pushing your belly out to the right, your spine arching. Notice, are you inhaling or exhaling when you do this? And then leave that alone. Slowly lengthen your leg and rest. Notice if different parts of yourself are touching the floor now. Now bend your knees, stand your feet. And your feet can be just comfortably spread right now. You're not going to roll right now. Take a few moments now to do some seesaw breathing. Do you remember what that is? You're going to intentionally push your belly out, your low belly out, as though you're filling it up with a balloon, and then you're going to pull your belly in real tight and puff up your chest, as if you're moving this balloon from your lower belly up into your chest to expand your chest. And then you reverse it, you flatten your chest, push that belly out, that balloon out in your belly. And just repeat this several times. Do it slowly. A few times, and then play with doing it quickly. This helps to free up any constrictions, any restrictions that we have. It helps to free up the muscles that may be holding tight, that can be inhibiting the extent to which we inhale, which of course has an impact on how much we exhale. Okay, then pause for a second And now imagine this first. You're going to expand the right lower quadrant of your pelvis, right lower quadrant, and then as you inhale or shift it, you're going to shift it up to the right, left lower quadrant to right upper quadrant. You're going to do a diagonal. So you start with expanding the left lower quadrant and then move it up diagonally to the right upper quadrant. Notice if you have a tendency to clench your teeth, and you let your jaw be soft. And then leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Take a moment to feel what you just did. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Now this time you're going to move that air balloon from, let's see, we did right lower to upper to left. Now we're going to do left lower backwards. Okay, we're doing right lower to upper left, right?
Correct.
Right lower, inflate that balloon, and then pop it up to the left upper quadrant. I should take notes. Draw me pictures. Oh. This is just using your belly muscles, your abdominal muscles, and then your upper back and chest muscles. And then just bring it back to the middle and do the your lower belly inflate, and then pop it up into inflating your chest. And then leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. Now, bend your right leg, stand your foot. Put your right hand behind your head, and you may have to shift things with how much you have under your head. You might have to, put your hand behind your head so that you're going to be able to slide your head sideways with the use of your hand. So now, take time to imagine this first. You're going to be pressing on your right foot with the intention of rolling to the left. Your right hand is going to be helping to slide your head a little to the right. Imagine your whole spine arching. You're going to use your belly muscles to push out to the left. When you're at, so your whole spine is going to arch. Think of looking to the left. Let your eyes look to the left as you take your head to the right. I was thinking more of your head turning. And now just let your eyes look up and to the right. You can keep your eyes closed, but press on your right foot with the force going through your skeleton to lift your right hip, pushing your belly out to roll to the left. Gently, gently. And your hand is there just to help your head move more easily, help your neck. And then leave it alone. Bring your arm down, lengthen your leg, and rest. Now bend your left leg. Your left hand is behind your head. And now that you have kind of an idea of what you're going to do, imagine it. Imagine how you're going to press on your foot. Imagine how the force is going to go through your skeleton as you push your belly out to the right. How your spine is going to rotate and arch. And then after you've done it, imagine it. Go ahead and do it. You can let your head roll. You think of your whole spine rotating as your pelvis rolls, your belly comes out. Your whole spine will rotate as you take your head to the left. Play with what you're doing with your eyes. If your spine is arching and rotating, your head is going to roll to look to the left, or the right, I mean. But let your head rest in your hand. And your whole spine is arching, which is why taking some of the support under your head is probably going to make it easier. Take some of this out a little bit and think if your whole spine is arching, your neck is also going to be arching, which would mean you're rolling this way, except if your spine is arching, you're...
Other than that cattywampus or something.
Let me... Might be a little hard to do with that much under your head. But just, yeah, imagine that your whole spine is arching. You don't have to go far, but just hold the thought of it arching. That's a good place to be imagining. Let your head look the other way. So if your spine is arching and the spine is rotating, it might be a little easier. Do you have any neck issues?
I don't think so. I'm okay.
Put your hand on behind your head there.
Oh, okay.
There. And think of, no, it isn't uncommon at all. Really. Well, and then just let it go. Lengthen your legs and rest. And feel anything that's different. Are there parts of you touching the floor now that weren't? Or are there parts lifted that were resting before? Is there any change in your breathing? And then take a few moments to imagine how you're going to roll to your side and elegantly come to sitting and then to stand. Come on, we can imagine. Use your vivid imagination. Yeah.
You know, it occurred to me, at least in part, why Feldenkrais was so successful in judo. That ability to move in one direction and move your eyes in the other direction is just what you need to fool an opponent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the opponent's going to be watching your eyes to determine where you're going to go.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Look
okay.
over
So, all right. So, notice, do you feel taller, shorter?
I can't feel any shorter.
Well, then feel free to feel taller. So, yeah. So, you might want both your feet on the floor because that pad is slippery. There we go. Better, all right, great. Thought it might be. All right, so just take a few moments to feel how your feet are on the floor. Get a sense of the length of your spine. Feel how your feet, ankles, legs connect to your hip joints. Scan from your tailbone, through your sacrum, your low back, mid-back, between your shoulder blades. Feel how your shoulder blades are hanging. Feel the length of your neck. Feel how your head is perched on your spine now. And then just turn your head a little left and a little right. Just play with exploring what's available in turning now. And as you're turning your head, be aware of the rest of your spine. Sometimes you can actually sense the turning of your head further down your spine. And the more of our skeleton that we're aware of in our conscious or an unconscious mind, the more connected we are, the more easily we move and use more parts of ourselves. And then just go ahead and walk around. And integrate what you did. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Got together with a fellow who had traveled in Italy with in 2012. And we just, he's from Oregon, and congregated in Illinois. And so we got hung up what we did, what we did. And I said I was in a Feldenkrais class.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I took one of the first classes that Moshe Feldenkrais.
Really? Oh my goodness.
And so we compared notes, and there was, let's see, there was 7 of us. Yeah, 7 of us. And everybody else was just looking and listening. He says, you just have to move a few millimeters
Mm-hmm.
consciously, and you make a whole difference in your whole body. Yeah, right. And so I looked over one of the people there, and I said, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's,
Mm-hmm.
that I thought he, just. Did you? He's 80.
Oh.
I think he's either 78 or 80.
Hold that thought. He wants to finish. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us today, and keep on moving well.